I'm here at the Hollar homestead. Ben and Megan. It's been a minute since we did a tour of you guys. I was pretty good about it in the beginning, updating. But, oh my gosh, their homestead. Let's get an update of their homestead. How long have you guys been here now?
2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Two and a quarter. Yeah.
And this little one is going to be
She's almost
1 year.
In like a week and a half, she'll be 1.
That's crazy.
So you guys were moving into your home this time last year, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had been in a week before she was born.
You actually were here for part of it. We were dumping compost down there
Yeah.
at the bottom,
Yep.
and then
one of our
having
rooted episodes.
having to haul it uphill.
Yeah.
And I had the bright idea, if I clear out some of this, I can dump it here and then haul it downhill.
There you go. I like that.
So this
That's
is where I get my deliveries of compost. These are sweet potatoes.
Whoa, that's an interesting variety of
Yeah,
sweet potato.
these are a North Carolina native. They're the Nancy Hall sweet potatoes. We got those from a friend in Mississippi.
Oh, that's funny. It's
she's
native
been-
to North Carolina.
She's been growing them for
Wow.
years, and so she sent us some slips a year and a half ago,
Last year.
and we grew them last year. And I mean, we got sweet potatoes,
Wow.
you know, that were that big.
Did you like them tasting?
Oh yeah, they're real
Great.
sweet.
Native to North Carolina. Got these from Mississippi.
What's it called?
What's this? You have your archway. What's going to grow up on that? You have something, some beans.
We had we had a lot of stuff.
We're kind of at the end of the summer season here.
Yeah, we've harvested. Actually, one of our next videos, we harvested all of our amaranth,
Yeah.
and I'm in the process of processing all of it. It's a lot of work. I let some stuff, like this is a passion vine. I've got some fruit. This is just a native. If you've ever seen passion flowers, they're just crazy looking. And so I let them come up on their own. I didn't plant them, and they're just doing their thing, and I'm letting them. We had a whole bunch of stuff in this bed, and as the amaranth came up volunteer, it got bigger and bigger and ended up shading everything out. That, we already cropped out onions. That was a
Nice.
whole bed of onions.
How will you cover that for the winter, or will you?
We're gonna cover, I'm debating doing like silage tarps or something just to keep the weeds down. I'm gonna run the chickens through here after everything's harvested and
Nice.
gone. I think my mobile flock, I think their tractor
Oh, that
will
would
fit
be
right on
cool.
top, and so
That'd
I
be
can just
cool.
move it down one, move into the next one, move it down, and then tarp.
Did you
everything.
think about that when you built these beds, or did that did you get lucky?
I'd thought about it, but it wasn't a deciding
Yeah.
issue.
How are these are just sawmill stumps from logs. These are just rounds from the logs. Those turning out, those working out all right?
They are.
Nice.
You probably recognize those.
I do. I gave him those, so I'm happy to see them
They,
growing food.
They grow some cool mushrooms.
Do they?
Yeah, I'll notice it in the real heavily shaded, like these sweet potatoes are getting out of their bed. If I dig down there against all the wood, I'll find mushrooms and stuff
Nice.
like that. So
This is neat.
this is cool.
You have a whole nother 2 sets that is just jamming and well, look, you got to watch out for the
Yeah.
watermelon.
I need to cage these. It's hilarious that watermelon don't want to produce in the beds that they started in. They
Yeah.
wait until they get out in the walkways and then they start producing.
You plant the comfrey in there just to be a companion, or what?
I use it as I make tea out of it. Actually, it's time to harvest everything, cut them way back. I use it as tea. I'll grind it up and make mulch out of it and put that on the beds. When these were first coming up, I would cut them back every 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and I've got so much tea stored up, I don't need any more. Japanese beetles have been a real bad problem this year. They're annihilating stuff. This is all Japanese beetle damage, but
It looks like you still got a crop.
yeah, we
Is
Right.
this okra?
yeah, this is okra. We
I've never seen a real okra plant. Shame on me as a North Carolinian.
Okra's
shame
one
on
of those
me.
things. It's good fried. I like it pickled. And so, do you want down? You want to go in the garden?
But look at this. You keep on going here with the garden. You've got corn there.
We had potatoes there. We had potatoes here. That all got cropped out. I've got cole crops getting ready to go in that bed. But the pumpkins that are finally doing well are starting to take over, so I'm losing bed space. And then this bed that was ready, the watermelons have now taken over. So I'm not in a real big push for ground. I've got beds opening up as stuff finishes up. The squash beetles have been really bad this year, and we're trying to do everything organically. Pyrethrum works okay, but it's still spraying stuff on our food, so I don't like doing it. The best luck I've had is walking through the garden when I'm watering and plucking off the squash beetle eggs and then smashing squash beetles. It's worked okay, but...
Because you have to water here because you're in the flatland of North Carolina. It gets pretty hot.
Rolling hills.
Rolling hills.
Foothills.
Where I think
Foothills,
technically we're classified as the Piedmont.
There you
Depends
go.
on which map you look at.
Yeah.
You're
which-
almost to the Piedmont.
Yeah.
The mountains are right next door. There she goes.
She loves the garden. This is her favorite place.
This is her happy
What
place.
you got? You got dirt.
You got all dirty, sister.
That's right. They're washable.
So it's, I think the highest we've seen is 95. Last week it was really brutal.
I bet it was.
It was bad.
It was really
Yeah,
hot. when
but
we
right
were-
now at 11:20, it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
Look at this long row of gardens. This is the end. Looks like you got a little squash and corn. You had any luck?
I tried doing the Three Sisters. The beans got completely shaded out and did not do anything. Some of the squash have done good. The ones that are on the edges.
Yeah.
I've got squash in the middle of that, but I planted too tight. And so once it got to a certain size, everything in the middle got shaded out.
For those that don't know what Three Sisters is,
Okay, so it's like old Native American trick. You plant your corn, and then you plant the squash and beans. The beans will climb the corn stalk, the squash shades the ground, so you don't have to water as much. And then, of course, the corn.
that's cool.
I think they are beneficials to each other. I forget how
Okay.
that works. I think the beans put nitrogen in the soil.
Yeah.
And the corn is a heavy feeder. I forget exactly what it is, but it's pretty
Good.
cool.
Squash is coming out the edges everywhere. Watermelon too. Did you mean to plant watermelon?
Yeah, we threw some watermelon in there, and when we did, it was all small. It was like, yeah, the watermelon can go this way. And the watermelon was actually doing really good, and I had a skunk come through and trim as it went. And so we lost a lot of the watermelon that were in here. It was kind of a bummer. It's all right. An owl got the skunk, so I think the score has been settled. This fall, once it cools down, I'm gonna put terraces all on this hill. I'm gonna put steps, like 3-4 sets of steps.
Nice.
And basically what I want is all of these hills go from just places that run off to places that are gonna be growable space. And so I want this to be a jungle when we're done.
Yeah.
I think it
Okay,
will.
so that's the vision. So
Yeah.
right now you've got what would you say? Is it half jungle? 40% jungle?
We're maybe like 30-40% jungle.
Okay. And the goal is we've come out here in a couple of years and this is just going to be all
Total jungle.
I want to,
plants.
Total jungle.
when like the amaranth was up, up on that hill, and then all the beans and everything was up where it was at its peak about a month ago, you couldn't see the barn from
That's
the
what you
house.
want.
And it's just like, that's what I want. I want to get lost out here.
Are you complaining about that, Mag, or do you like that plan?
Love it.
These are all zinnias. Some of the zinnias have done great. Something I have come to realize this year is part of my life's purpose is to grow flowers. I love growing
Really?
flowers. I figured that out about myself this year.
Love it, Ben.
I was going to ask, whose idea was it to grow the flowers? Yours
That's me.
or Meg's?
That was me.
You had any fried green tomatoes yet this year?
Not yet. I am not the tomato growing person. Meg knows how. And
Meg knows how.
when, I kind of trellis stuff a little bit in the beginning, and then
Let it go.
it all got away from me.
Yeah.
And so our tomato plants are just terrible this year. The rattlesnake beans are 10 to 1 the producer that these purple
Yes,
beans have
they
been.
are for
Really?
sure, and they
They-
taste better too.
So are these purple beans just cool?
They are. They
Alright.
turn green when you cook them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. They
What's
taste
the
good.
idea, man?
But,
Just to be beautiful out here on the garden then.
well,
Well-
they kind of got away from us, so I was like, well, let's just let them go.
We'll let
and
these
save
go to
the
seed.
And then you'll keep the seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll plant the seed next year.
Nice.
We've found anything we've saved seeds for, the next year, the plant is like naturalized and it knows our soil. And
Nice.
it does way better.
Nice.
So Like these did all right this year, but I guarantee you next year they'll do even better. So
Nice.
we're gonna try it with the beans. So these are Tigger melons. We've tried to grow these for 2 years now, and I finally had luck with them. They turn orange when they're ripe. They don't get much bigger than that.
Oh really?
They kinda-
Are they like? They're not. Are they melon? Like
They're a
watermelon?
melon,
They're
Called
like
'em-
more
a
like
cantaloupe.
a
Cantaloupe.
Tiger melons.
like a honeydew
Yeah.
kind of.
They
They're not as sweet though.
they're a white flesh inside. Kind of tastes like maybe a cross between a honeydew and a cantaloupe.
You ever had any luck with cantaloupe? We never have any luck.
I have yet
I've
to
never
grow
had luck.
cantaloupe that we haven't eaten.
We didn't even have luck in California.
Yeah, we didn't have
I
luck
think I
out
grew
there.
one in our entire.
Is California supposed to be good for growing cantaloupe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decent.
Where we were at in the Central Valley, they call it the bread basket of the world,
Yeah.
or the fruit basket of the world, because you can pretty much grow anything. Where we were at, our backyard had terrible dirt, and so for the 9 years we lived there, all I did was bring in compost and stuff. And
Yeah.
so when we left, the soil was great.
So if y'all don't know their story, they moved from California to North Carolina. You chose the best state. You guys still think so?
Yes.
Yeah,
Happy with your decision?
Yeah.
2.5 years in?
Yeah.
yeah. We the heat is bearable. You know,
It rains here.
It rains,
Water
like-
falls from the sky.
here
You're
it is.
almost a little giddy as we talk about
Yeah.
this. You're almost
We're really gonna
like,
enjoy it.
I don't think he'd mind me saying this. When I talk to Benj, the garden guy, he talks about his fiance. He's kind of like, you have a little bit of a glow when you're talking about this place.
We came through in October, and we've never had 4 seasons. We have summer and then 2 weeks of winter.
Yeah.
So coming through in November, it's like, this is what fall looks like. There's actual fall
beautiful.
color.
Yeah.
And
So pretty.
when we left, it was like, I kind of want to go back. I liked it.
Oh,
So
what I'm saying is it see in your eyes that you're in love with North Carolina.
I think a little bit.
A little
Yeah.
Good. Do you really have a watermelon growing on the?
yeah,
That's awesome. You have some net holding it up.
that was a basket from like oranges.
Yeah.
And we saved them this year. We thought we were going to trellis a lot more watermelons and melons and stuff, and we had one.
That's cool. You're not gonna have the bottom rot off out of it.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. It's just about done.
How do you know when it's done?
I don't.
You just ask Mr. Google Pants.
Guessing.
Lucky guess.
It's
We
kind of
have
stopped
not had
growing,
luck.
so it's probably pretty close.
This is what I'm talking about right here. I love this. Look at these little mini poultry pens.
We've been pretty happy with them. I think the other option for us would be we would just go to kind of like what you've got, the shade platform with a net.
Yeah.
But we have not had any predator damage.
You're on a budget. They're small enough that you can move them. You don't have to buy the wheels. You don't have to have a net. If you had scrap lumber
Which that's what
and
I'll
some
do.
wire, which and some handles even. I'm trying to let, yeah. Your handles are mismatched. You've just found handles from wherever you can. One's rope.
Yeah, we this was all lumber that was taken out when we were redoing the mobile home. So it's all was it 2x3?
Yeah.
This one was the only one that I have purchased the lumber for,
Yeah.
and I've probably got maybe $50 in it.
And that was when lumber was high
Yeah.
or low?
Yeah.
That was high.
This
Okay.
I bought 2x6s, and
Wow.
it cost 8 2x6s, and I've tried to make everything on it like it's 2 feet tall, so you can buy a 15-foot roll of hardware cloth, and it does the door and the wraparound. So
Yeah, I like it. How many birds you got in there?
something like 14, I think.
I like this too because you can, because they're low profile and size, you can get on a hill
That's been the
and
hardest.
you can pull them without a dolly.
Yeah, I put PVC. I took it was like a 3-inch PVC pipe and
Yeah.
split it, and these things do slide pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. You got this vacuum seal water, and did you make these? Did
Yeah.
you make these food troughs?
Yeah, these that was more. This was garbage that was here. We had a whole bunch
What metal was this?
That's
oh, that's plastic.
conduit.
Oh, that's smart.
So
Then
that
you don't have
was-
rusting.
That was a 6-inch conduit, and
I like it.
took and cut a swath out of it, and
What's a swath?
Well, you know, like a section.
Okay.
I think I cut
And then
like a third.
you made these ends.
Yep.
And then you just did a screw.
Yeah, it's just a screw, so they.
So the screw turns with this.
Yep.
And the hole is big enough for the screw to go through.
Yeah. So
that's how this is not going to wear out.
yeah, we.
That's smart.
These I made last year, and they work so good. They keep the feed clean, and then if it's going to rain, we just take it and put it up inside. And
what about chicks? They can't get to that. So do you just use smaller ones when they're chicks?
I have smaller ones when they're chicks.
Okay.
But for the big ones, once they're a certain size, they can't hop up in there.
It's 3/4 covered.
Yep.
For shade and 1/4 open. Just like Joel Salatin's poultry pens, just smaller.
Just smaller. These are 6x6.
Yeah. And how many rounds have you done? You're gonna do, if there's say 15 in each, you've got 45 birds right here.
Yeah, I think we have about 50 birds in here right now.
Okay, so 50. And then you'll do how many batches? 50.
Probably about 3 batches a year.
Nice.
We have done more meat birds, but by the end, like right now, we're about count squares. I think we're 4 or 5 days away from being ready to process.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say they're near it.
So the way we do it, we'll start in the bottom of this next swale.
Yeah.
And we'll go that way. We'll get to the driveway. We'll turn around, come down in this one, and then when we get right here at the barn,
Yeah.
that's the end of the road.
You have these massive swells built in that are in all this acreage around. It must have been a plantation back in the day.
It was.
Do you like that? Or do you kind of wish there was just one deal? Has it worked out to your advantage?
It has worked to our advantage. Having all of the major earthwork already done, it drains. So if we have one of those rain events, like we had 1.5 inches of rain on Tuesday, and it was enough to get the water to start flowing. It doesn't flow violently, but it does flow. And so it'll just serpentine around all these properties around here, and it winds up in our swamp. And it's nice.
Nice.
If it was just a hill, I think it's up here in the woods across from us. It's all just sloped, and if we have a big rain event, all those leaves and stuff just come straight down.
This is a no excuse killing cone. It's just a bucket, a Lowe's bucket.
The buckets worked all right, but these ones I got to replace them. The sun's
they sit out in the sun and they get brittle.
Yeah, the sun's ruined them.
This is some metal, just
this
metal.
Is just some flashing material left over from the house, and I made this last go around and it worked.
Yeah.
I just need to make a couple more of them.
So do you keep this up all season then?
Well, this last time I did, because we butchered these and we already had our next batch coming, so we've got one more batch of meat birds after them, and after that batch is done, then I'll take it down.
What's coming out of the wall there?
Oh, because the guy here wasn't real enthused about recycling anything, I had a 55-gallon drum of waste oil, used motor oil, and the whole drum was falling apart, and so I didn't want to move it and risk spilling it. So I made a waste oil burner, and it gets so hot it vaporizes all of the oil, so there's hardly any smoke that comes out, and I ended up burning all that oil, heating the barn when I was down here working last winter.
It's got me going down this bank. I'm doing it. Okay, we got one more thing. The pigs, the best. We saved the best for last. Look at this big Mangalisa pig. Is this Mangalisa grown on you yet?
She has.
What's her name?
This is Lamb Chop.
Okay, don't you have a Bubbles or something?
Yeah, Bubbles is the boar. He's over there.
All right.
She was supposed to be pregnant, and apparently it didn't take.
Oh.
So, I think it was Mother's Day is when they were last together, and they had a good weekend. And from what I had seen, it looked like she was bred, but I don't know. I don't know enough.
Will you know in a few weeks if she?
Well,
does she cycle like a cow? She come in heat?
I haven't been out here enough to check her. Usually when they're in heat, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any of the obvious signs, so she might be due in 2 weeks. I can't tell. A friend of ours, his is due the same time she is, and his guilt, she's definitely showing. You know, the nipples get longer and all that. She's not showing that, so.
But you haven't seen any signs of heat, so she may
No.
She's getting excited. You coming around? This is my feed man.
They already got fed this morning.
So I'm a pig. I will eat anytime.
I will eat anytime, any day.
Ben has a way of building something out of nothing, for nothing. I bet that shed cost you got a little metal on there. You probably found that though.
No, I bought the
Oh,
metal.
you spent big money.
Yeah.
What'd it do? Cost you $100?
No, I think I've got maybe 40
Big money.
$40 in metal. But yeah, everything else, all of that was wood that I pulled out of the woods.
Wow, look at that snout. Look how long.
Yeah.
You must be a good digger.
Oh yeah. I need to put them out in the woods.
You must be a good digger. Is this all you got right now? You don't have any little piglets running around?
We've got the guinea hogs. We can walk out there and see them.
All right.
Yeah, I'm starting to think she's coming back into heat.
Look. Leaving the breeders. You got you some guinea hogs in these woods somewhere?
Yep. These are our...
Oh, it's cool in the woods.
Oh, it feels good out here in the woods.
Look at these big guys. How old?
They're in November. They'll be 2.
Are they all feeders?
Well, we've kind of flip-flopped. We were going to get out of guinea hogs because they grow so slow.
Mm-hmm.
But their personalities, their temperament is so nice. We found someone that we're going to buy a boar from.
Yeah.
And so we'll buy a boar, we'll breed the 2 females, and then 2 males are castrated. You helped me castrate them.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
They were that big. Looked like
Wee little
potatoes.
things.
So the 2 males, we're going to process them in November. And then the 2 females, we'll breed them and get some piglets going on.
Look how well they've underbrushed in here.
This particularly looked really
compared
bad.
to this.
It looked about like back over here.
And now you've cleared it in here. You could actually get in here.
Yeah.
Move around, enjoy your property.
They're getting ready to move.
Where are you going? Right there?
I think I'm going to put them further down in the woods that way where it's a little deeper.
Okay.
But yeah, they've been doing all right.
A little kissy sandwich. Liliana. Thank you so much for the tour. But we gotta know what's next, because look what's happened in 2.5 years.
Oh my goodness.
What's gonna be what's gonna be like in another 2.5 years?
There's going to be a lot more garden.
Yes.
Okay, we're going down.
Yep.
We're doing the
Jungle garden.
Jungle
garden.
Hopefully a shop.
There's a shop coming.
Yep.
I can feel it.
And we're playing back and forth.
We're trying to figure out where exactly we want it
Yep.
and how big we want it, and so depending on the price of building materials, that is going to determine where it goes. She's like, I need rocks. Put me down. And then really it's just growing and making sure we can, feed ourselves, make it a little more sustainable. Something we've talked about is growing animal food crops to lighten the feed load.
Yeah.
So that's something we might pursue next year.
And if you guys don't know these guys, Hollar Homestead on YouTube, it's going to be fun to follow along on their journey.